Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box. Now, some say that every band has a demographic. We recently lost Ozzy Osbourne, and if someone's wearing, black leather with the words Ozzy on their hands, they're probably at a Black Sabbath concert. If people are, young girls who are dressed up and probably wearing a lot of perfume that their fathers bought them at Nordstrom, you might be at a Taylor Swift concert. If you're around people that dance really, really well, you might just be at a James Brown concert. And if an older executive is trying to make a bit of whoopee with the HR lady, you're probably at a Coldplay concert. But what about Rush's demographic? Rush's demographic was one that was historically underserved in the music world. And these are people that are, and I say this lovingly, the geeks. Rush was a band that catered to the geek demographic, and that was a very underserved demographic. And it doesn't really make sense. They don't spend their money on drugs and girls, so that means they generally have more disposable income for buying records and merchandise. Because a lot of them are very good at, computer and rocket science, it means that they probably have time to analyze the records and start fan forums, and voila, they did. But no other band really sought to cater to them. And don't get me wrong, Rush didn't consciously go out to do that. They initially sort of set out to be the Canadian Led Zeppelin, eh? And when people first heard what they were about, they weren't quite sure where to place them. But slowly but surely, Rush developed a cult following. And, call it Revenge of the Nerds, but they really were different than any other hard rock band or any other prog rock band. You can tell where their influences were, but they really created a unique sound. They didn't, in my mind, I don't generally group them together with Genesis, Yes, ELP, even though they were influenced by them and loved that music. Nor would I group them in with Sabbath and Zeppelin, or they were influenced by the harder progressive stuff as well. They were really a band that, thanks to Neil Peart's odd time signatures and his highly orchestrated, highly composed, complex drumming, Geddy Lee's unique vocal bass and keyboard style, and Alex Lifeson's sometimes under-recognized but virtuosic and again highly individuated guitar style, they became something of their own, and they managed to keep their individuality across multiple sort of eras of Rush, whether it was the synth-heavy era of the mid and late 80s, the more sort of hard era of lots of phased and flanged cool hard rock stuff of the mid to late 70s, whether the more stripped down stuff in the 90s or their sort of elder statesman 2000s period. They were always Rush. They always sounded like Rush, and that was a testament to the fact that they were all virtuosos and all very dedicated to their craft, and their unique sense of humor, their sort of clean living, Canadian style, of course, it all sort of came through. So while Elvis might be the king of rock and roll, I suppose that the Tim Hortons of rock and roll are Rush. They created music for a demographic that no one before has served and no one since has served as well. Bravo to Rush. As always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.